All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, to the men on the highways and the byways that are pushing out this word in truth and sincerity, and to the remnant men, women, and children of the elect. To you all, I say Shalom. My name is Ahmawan Ahyash, and I'm back with another lesson through the power and the spirit of Yahweh by Yahsharalah. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I wanted to just, do a quick update on what we've been hearing about this whole hantavirus thing, which started maybe at some point last week when that cruise ship had docked, and there were confirmed 3 dead, and I can't remember, I think it maybe as many as 8 to 10, I don't know, confirmed cases. But I just wanted to do a quick update on that because, we're getting notifications and updates, every minute, not every minute, but every day, on the hours, and, there's articles coming in and updates and notifications about this thing. And, through the spirit, this could be something that causes a high level of panic, chaos, maybe another pandemic, who knows, the spirit will reveal it. But at the end of the day, we know Esaw is looking to embark on some sort of catastrophic event that will change the course of society and how it functions. And, as Watchmen, we're just here to, sit back and watch and report, stay in the spirit. And Lord willing, that's what we're going to do. This article came from Newsbreak, so I just want to read it. It says New York monitoring three residents for hantavirus. Okay, so now in New York, they're saying they're monitoring 3 residents in New York for the hantavirus. And now this probably includes maybe up to or close to 10 states that are monitoring this virus. And this sounds very much how like they, when the C19 first started, 1 state, 2 states, 3 states, next thing you know it's 10 states, next thing you know it's 15, and that's the gradualism that happened with the C19. Kind of feels the same, you know what I mean? So again, we just want to report on it and give some updates. It says 3 New York State residents, including 1 New York City resident, are expected to be monitored for hantavirus over a 42-day period. Okay, so 42 days is a month and about 11, 12 days. All right, so that's 5 weeks, maybe 6 weeks almost. So that's a pretty extended period of time. It says Dr. Alistair Martin, New York City's health commissioner, posted a statement about it on Monday, and here is his tweet. It says, "My statement on a New York City resident disembarking the MV Hondius cruise ship. Currently, the risk to New Yorkers for hantavirus remains extremely low. We will keep New Yorkers informed as we monitor and respond to the situation." So, at the end of the day, it's not something that we take very taking Esau for his word is not the smart thing to do. It's not the wise thing to do, because his word is no good. Okay, any of these city state officials, especially when it comes to these so-called health organizations, they're all working together with the elites and the illuminated ones. These are lower level luminaries to a degree, and they are set up just like Dr. Fauci. He was set up, to push an agenda, and we can expect more of the same moving forward. Because we know, again, we're expecting some sort of catastrophic event, whether it's a pandemic or whether it's some sort of false flag event to take place that's going to change the course of how things are going. And again, we're just monitoring this stuff and watching, and again, watching everything with a grain of salt, not taking everything for face value. You got to so-called chew the meat and spit out the bones, because we know that this man doesn't have a single fucking honest bone in his body. All right, it says 3 New York State residents who were passengers on the MV Hondius cruise ship arrived at Offutt Air Base in Nebraska. Martin wrote, the commissioner said that the New York City Health Department is working with the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the state's health department. All right. At this point, we don't know how long the individuals will stay in Nebraska, or whether or when those individuals will return to New York. Martin said. Martin stressed that the risk to New Yorkers remains extremely low. The WHO, World Health Organization, also called the risk low, and the situation was not another COVID. Okay. It says 11 cases of hantavirus were confirmed from the cruise. 3 people died. So it was 11. I said anywhere from 8 to 10. So it was 11. And now what you have to also understand is, like I mentioned, anytime they mention the World Health Organization or the CDC or any of these organizations that are set up, and controlled by big corporations, elite bankers, so on and so forth, they're not to be trusted. They're not to be trusted. It's all take everything with a grain of salt, and watch their lies just continue to unfold and unpack, and that's basically what what we have to do through the Spirit. We have to be mindful of who we're dealing with. Esaw, Edom, the so-called white man, he is not to be trusted, and we have to rely on what the Spirit is showing us. Okay, we know, according to prophecy, we're close to the end times. We're in the end times, but we're close to the very end. We're close to the very end of Esau's system, and he's going to come down with great wrath. We know he's looking to collapse the society so he can usher in his new world order system. Therefore, the things that he mentions and says in his news and his media, it's all propaganda. Okay, it's all things to control a certain narrative. It's all to get a reaction out of the public, out of the people. Okay, in hopes that reaction turns into one of uncertainty, people being scared, not necessarily understanding what to say or to do or how to react to these things, especially when it's concerning, their jobs, their families, their health. People get very, 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 very nervous and anxious and scared, and it turns into something that becomes, you end up having to trust what you're hearing and seeing because you don't know enough, and that's what these people bank on. They bank on the majority of the society not knowing enough to rebel against what they're hearing, so to speak, or to challenge, I'd rather say, not necessarily rebel, but to challenge the information, the propaganda. Okay, and not knowing enough will put you in the state of, I'm just gonna have to be obedient to what I hear because I don't have the ability to challenge this information. I have to make sure I take care of my family and my loved ones, and at some point it becomes an any means necessary type of situation. As we saw with the C-19, people took that JAB because they had no other alternative. There was nowhere to turn to, and they don't have the fear, belief, and trust in the names of Yahawashi, so that's not something they can turn to. Only the Lord's elect will. All right, and we've been tried and we've been tested in that manner the first go around, and Lord willing, we passed that test. If and when it comes, because even if that's not our necessarily specific test coming this time, there's going to be tests there's going to be trials that the Lord is going to put in front of us that's going to test of our faith, our fear, our belief, our trust in the names of Yahawashi, and we're going to have to, Lord willing, lean on the Lord, right? And that's what we count on. All right, so I saw a video on Instagram. It mentioned the Hanta in Hebrew. So it just basically said, go Google Hanta in Hebrew because this is the Hanta virus. So I went and did it, and this is what came up. It says in Israeli slang, Hanta, okay, is a colloquial term meaning nonsense, a lie, a scam, or something fake. All right, and through the Spirit, man, these are the things that, when we see none of this stuff is coincidental. We don't believe, as men of the Lord, we don't believe in coincidence. We believe in things being absolute and everything being on the Lord's timing. Okay, words have meaning, and those words have power. And when things are meaningful like this, we take these things and we we understand that we can use this to continue to warn the flock, strengthen our faith, and continuing to look at the times that we're in and understand what's happening, because this is not a coincidence. Okay, it says it is commonly used to dismiss a story, excuse, or situation as total garbage or load of bull. All right, so the hunter, the word, basically it means nonsense or lie or scam or something fake. Okay, so do we believe what Esaw says about this virus? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, it says usage. It is informal slang, not a formal dictionary word for fraud. Context. It has gained recent social media attention due to coincidence that hantavirus begins with the same sound as the slang term. Pronunciation. Often pronounced hanta with a guttural ch sound. Right. It should not be used with formal Hebrew term for scam, such as honana or tarmit. And again, Esaw, listen, again, this is not coincidental. Esaw will use these terms, name them, as a way to kind of mock the people, the masses. Okay, almost to say, yeah, we could, put this information out and name what we want, and because who's gonna stop us? Who's gonna say anything? Who's gonna, even if you guys uncover some of these secrets, who's gonna? We're in power. We're in rulership. Who's gonna take us down? And that's the pride of this devil. That's the pride of this devil. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the most prideful, most evil, wicked force the world has ever seen. All right, I just wanted to bring that out. What else? This is another article, okay, from ndtv.com. It says hantavirus outbreak, 2 new cases confirmed, 10 major updates. Spanish authorities, the WHO, and other health agencies are currently collaborating to ensure the safe disembarkment of the passengers and crew while minimizing the risk to general public health. Okay, so again, that's going along what I just read. These cases will grow, most likely, Lord willing, and it'll turn into something that will continue to lead to more chaos in this world, because the more chaos that brews, okay, that could lead to Jacob's trouble. We want this place to absolutely collapse from within and lead to Jacob's trouble, and one more prophecy down as we get closer to the Lord's second coming. Because at this point, that's what it's really all about. And again, you have to be careful with this man, because you can't trust him. Okay? You can't trust what he says. You can't trust his news. You can't trust his propaganda, because it's always some scam behind it, man. That's who he is. Esau is Esau, the biggest goddamn scammer you've ever met in your life. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. It says, the armor of the Most High, the caption. Okay, it says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Okay, so we have to be strong in the Lord and the power of his might, because what's being revealed unto us is going to require a great deal of strength. All right, verse 11, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Okay, and these are the wiles of the devil. Okay, these are the wiles of the devil. Okay, the slang, using words, these meaning of these words having a certain effect on society. Right, these are the wiles of the devil that the Bible talks about. All right, it says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness and of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So that's what we're dealing with. Esau Edom is a high level demon. Satan, his physical counterpart, Esau Edom, is a high level demon. They pray, they practice satanic rituals, they call and summon the demons. And this is why the society is completely out of order and destroyed and in the state that it's in, because of who we're dealing with. We're dealing with spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, it says, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. So it's literally about putting on the whole armor of Yahweh Shai, which embodies a whole lot. Faith in Yahawashi, fear of Yahawashi, doing your best to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, rehearsing the righteous acts, doing this work, fellowshipping, being brotherly, charity, any and everything that you can do to serve the Lord, to be a better brother, praying, fasting, doing any and everything you can to stay in the spirit. So when these times comes, when all hell does break loose, we'll be equipped. We'll be equipped to handle and to tap into our faith and our belief that the Lord would deliver us through all Esau's devices, all his scams, all his wiles, all of his, coming down with great wrath. We'll be able to stand firm. Okay, so that's what the scriptures are imploring us to do. All right, it says, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. So we are in a position to where this truth has been revealed unto us, and we have the ingredients. We're equipped with the necessary ingredients to get through this. It's about enduring, praying for the spirit of endurance. Okay, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked, right? And we're watching the fiery darts of the wicked. You see what's going on, in the so-called Middle East. You see what's going on with these wars. We see what's going on, these plagues and these pestilences, the collapsing of the dollar, the economy, inflation. Brothers are reporting, we could see $7 gas in June. This is not by coincidence. This is by design. These are the fiery darts of the wicked. He wants to collapse society. He wants to see the people suffer. Why? So he can be right there with the solution. Problem, reaction, solution. Okay? So he can be right there with the solution, and then he can implement that MOTB, this new world order system, and get his enterprise rolling. But Yahawashi has a different plan. All right? And this is why we have to take on the helmet of salvation. All right? It says, and take the helmet of salvation and the word of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Okay, so we got to be locked in. We got to be a body. We got to be together. We got to keep brothers in the spirit and do the right thing by this calling, man. Because Esaw about to come with that shit. Excuse my French. He about to come down with it. This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 3. It says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war in the flesh. Okay, so we walk in the flesh. This is, even though we walk in the flesh, we don't war in the flesh. Why? Because this is a spiritual battle that we're talking about here. We're not going to be able to fight off Esau in the flesh. Okay, we have to tap in spiritually. Okay, because again, that's tapping in spiritually is going to be, you're going to absolutely need to exercise a high level of faith in that day. All right, not a high level of carnality. Okay, as I'm going to read as we continue, verse 4, it says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds. Okay, so like it, we're going to have to tap into a high level of spirituality, high level of faith, in fear and belief and trust in Yahawashi. Anything carnal will not work, as Esau is trying to implement and establish his new world order system. All right, anything carnal will not work. And if you don't understand that at this point, the Lord gonna have to show you. Okay, fearing and trusting in Yahawashi is the only way to get through the times that are approaching. Verse 5 says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High. Okay, and that's everything outside of this truth. Everything that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High. Right, all these different philosophies, all these different people getting online talking about this, that, and the third. Man, anything outside of this truth, that's what the scriptures say. If any bring, actually, let me get it real quick. before I chop it up. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. And it reads, let me highlight it. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Okay, so anything outside of this word is because it doesn't possess any light. It does not beneficial to you. All right, so we're casting down the imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of the Most High. All right, so if anybody, any type of philosophy, any way of life, any other gods that are being presented, or any way out of, trouble, and that anybody is presenting to you that's outside of Yahawashi, this truth, then it's because they have no light in them. All right, and it's carnal. All right, and it says, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach Yahawashi. All right, because we are in a position, look at what it says in NLT. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing the Most High. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Hamashiach Yahawashi. Rebellious thoughts against the Lord will have you in a position to where you're thinking carnally. You're thinking in a way that's not spiritual. You're thinking in a way that when these times come, that something outside of the Lord will deliver you. And that's where your fault is going to be. And that's when you're going to be destroyed. Point blank, period. There's no middle ground. There's no gray area when it comes to Yahawashi. When it comes to the truth, it's just truth. It's the spirit of Yahawashi and nothing else. Okay? Let me see. I think I got one more precept. I'll just close it out on this. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10. This is, you should know this by now. Okay? Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so of his wickedness. All right? The wickedness of Esaw, Edom, the wickedness that's in his heart, that's on display every single day throughout this society. Okay? You can never trust him. You never trust your enemy. Okay? So like iron rusteth, so of his wickedness. Esau, his wickedness is continual. Okay, and it never does it. It just rusts. It's Esau's wickedness is like a rusty sword. Okay, that when it pierces you, oh my gosh, it's gonna do nothing. It's gonna do a heavy amount of damage. It'll just, you know what I mean? The type of damage that it'll do is man, it's unforgiving, man. All right, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. You have to beware of the so-called white man. You have to beware of these people when they start talking. When you hear CDC, when you hear WHO, when you hear, these presidents and these health officials, when you hear them start talking, beware. Okay, it says, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away, because all he knows is wickedness. All he knows is to spew lies. And he is absolutely not, he's never, ever regretful. That's literally what he was created for, to be the wicked on the earth, to bring that wickedness, okay, to continue to prick you with lies and illusions and shame and guilt, all right, and bring captivity to you. That's all he knows. All right, so being watchful of Esau, Edom, tapping into the spirit of Yahawashi, it's the only way to get covered from the times that are coming. All right, so with that, I hope you were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.